Coach's Corner with Coach Heck and the infamous Coach Patrick King. Some of the stuff we say.
We're not responsible for our actions.
No,
we're sober.
In essence, and you could tell me to shut the hell up, but in essence, you got chemo face, right?
I got chemo face. When I go to the scores table to talk to Coach, I say, get as many pictures as you can. And it kind of reminded me that the stories you said when you coached the McDonald's game when you had LeBron say, okay, LeBron sign this because someday it's going to be important.
What did one casket say to the other? Is that you coughing? And you ain't that good. The scouting report said you were pretty good. You ain't that good.
Coach's Corner with Heck and King live at Corby's Irish Pub in South Bend is brought to you by Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance, On Funeral Homes in Mishawaka, Bricks Driving School in Mishawaka, and the Harbor Group Planned Wealth down in Anderson. If you're on YouTube, make sure and subscribe to the channel and like the video and comment in the chat. Now here's Heck and King.
Good evening to everybody. Not yet. We don't have to applaud yet. There you go. Hey, good evening to everybody. As you can see, Heck is on his way to Newcastle tonight. So I have with me to my left here in the middle is Drew Clawwitter. And at the far left is John Overmeyer. So we have a broadcast sport night tonight. These are guys that I work with during football and basketball season. So welcome, fellas. How are you?
Doing all right. And I promise I won't Willie Pip Heck. Wally. Well, sorry. Wally. I won't Wally Pip him either.
Yeah. Well, my relative of mine, Charlotte Danforth, one of Heck's buddies, she wanted to know who is Wally Pip. And I had to explain to her. And she said, my husband was a Yankees fan for 100 years. And I'd never heard the name Wally Pip. So I had to explain to her that he was
forgettable guy.
He was the first base. Yeah, he was the infielder that got hurt, and Luke Gehrig took his place and never gave it back to him.
Well, now technically this is my first time on the show. Wouldn't I have to promise not to Wally Pip Heck? Because you've been on the show before.
Yeah, I have.
So this is my first
John's
time.
the founder of the show.
I'm the founder of the
exactly.
show.
So
John used to push the buttons. That's right.
I'm on this side of it now.
Spinning the dials.
And as you can see, Scott is in town this week. He's up town from visiting mom and dad and everybody else. And so he's in town from Texas for a couple of days. So he just came and decided to sit with us. So we're happy to have him along, and got a few other people here around. But hey, this is the first home game coming up for the Irish. So
the big one too.
This is a big game coming up. It's always the first home game is always a big deal, but this one's got a little extra meaning for several reasons. So with the Irish, losing the first ball game down in Miami 2 weeks ago, I'm sure they're eager to get back on the field. Have you guys been to any of the press conferences?
I have. I talked to Chuck Freeby earlier this week, who of course has been a guest on the show here. And
right.
Last week, right?
Yeah.
No, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago he was on here. And there is a lot of excitement for the home opener. And from what Marcus Freeman has said, they expect to see a lot of improvement in the areas that they were weak in. We've talked about getting better from week 1 to week 2.
Sure.
At whatever level. And that's what they're kind of expecting, is that the offensive line is going to be better. Obviously, a lot of the criticism came why they didn't run the ball against Miami, throwing all these little screen passes that get the car comfortable. I think we're going to see more of a running game out of Notre Dame against Texas A&M. Their defense is not very good against the run. At least they haven't shown that
in the
yet.
First game.
Yeah, their first couple games, they really haven't shown that. So when you've got Jajarian Price and Jeremiah Love in the backfield, I think you're going to see more of that. But there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of expectations. They're expecting the big crowd. And like Marcus said, it's good to be home and play in front of the fans at Notre Dame Stadium, which will help get them energized to try to win their first ball game of the year.
And summer's back.
Yes.
It's going to be in the middle 80s with a heat index up around 90 during the day. And, hope with it being a night game, I think that will help. But it's going to be in the 80s at game time, which will
while we're sitting in the tailgate lot.
Yeah,
right?
so summer is back here for about 10 days here in the month of September. So I think it's going to be exciting. We've got a few more people in here tonight than we have in the past, and we're down here at Corby's Pub, as you know, and thrilled to death to be down here. And it's interesting how we come in here and it's mostly adults going home from work at this time of day.
It is a bar, so I would
Yes.
hope it's all adults.
Well, I don't.
Pub.
A
Oh, yeah,
pub.
sorry.
I
The
mean,
pub, yeah.
I meant there's no
Somebody's
no college kids here.
Oh, let
yet.
me get you a shepherd's pie there, laddie.
Oh,
By-
there might be a few college kids. A couple of weeks ago when we were
By-
packing up, there was a few college kids that walked in.
By 8:30, 9 o'clock, it starts getting the old people start heading for home, and the youngsters start coming in. And it's funny because the wait staff actually increases around 8:30.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they've only got 1 or 2 in here, and it's funny how 3 or 4 other people show up about 9 o'clock because they're open till 3 in the morning. And this place, I guess, is hopping at midnight between here and across the street at the Lobber. We're like ground zero
That works.
for nightlife here on Thursday,
Well, and-
Thursday and Friday nights here in South Bend.
Well, and this is going to get busier. And, we used to have it over at the Linebacker,
Mhm.
and we drove by there on our way here, and that place is already packed. There's
Mhm.
people standing out in the tents, sitting in the tents. They're already packed,
Yeah.
getting ready for the big home opener on Saturday. And Drew, I want to ask you, and I don't mean to interrupt your coach. but
No, that's
I wanted to ask you, being a lineman, your assessment of Notre Dame's offensive and defensive line, and where do they have to get better?
Well, some would call me an overzealous fan, but I've rewatched the game twice already now. And you mentioned the screen passes. You kind of rewatched the game. It was a lot of RPOs. Even Freeman and Carr came out and said it. And Miami did a really good job creating kind of havoc for CJ Carr in his first start. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Box was loaded. You get it outside, but also at the same time, when you have 4 in the backfield, you have to give it to him.
Give it to him. Feed it to him.
I think the biggest issue with the offensive line was the fact that you had a lot of different things that were happening in front of them with the defensive line, the linebackers. And when you kind of run the scheme Notre Dame runs, the most important one, and even outside of Notre Dame's scheme, gap on, and then you kind of search downfield. A lot of the times they started in the gap and then they would go somewhere else. So then they have to look on. But at that point, the person that was supposedly supposed to be on them was either by them or they were trying to fall back and help out. So that's where I saw a lot of the issues happening. The communication was good at times. A lot of the other times it was bad. And then in the fourth quarter, I've personally never been to Florida in the summer. I've been to Florida once when I was 10 years old, so I definitely don't remember that. But you have the heat, the humidity. It was raining all day. It stopped 20 minutes before kickoff.
mm-hmm.
So you have all that combined. You saw Knapp in the last drive. He was out because he was cramping. You saw Wagner on the last drive. I think he was just kind of hoping that his size would help because you don't really pass block like that and hope someone just runs into you as he did on the second to last play.
Oh dear.
So I think getting away from the heat, humidity, another week, hydration, and then not having a game, you'll see a lot of improvement in the offensive line. I think that most important thing that I want to know, I want to see, is going to be the communication between the center guard, the guard tackle, because when you have the gap on linebacker, you have someone in the gap, it goes away. You have to communicate, okay, he's going toward you, then you have to look inside to see if anyone's coming toward you. So the communication is going to be the most important thing for me to see.
Isn't it interesting how rule blocking still fits? I mean, even 50 years ago, you had the goo blocking, gap on, off, out.
Yeah, I mean,
that you just went up there and you look. Is there a guy inside of me? No. Is there a guy on me? No. Is there a guy off me? Yes, that's yours. You just went out there and did that. Now zone blocking's changed that a little bit because everybody steps ball side and goes. Hey, before we go any further, let me mention our sponsors real quick. Black Sedan Band's been with us since the start. Tony Letcher, Health Market Insurance. Ben Harbor with the Harbor Group. Matter of fact, I think his Harboritaville down in Anderson for all of his clients is this week. So I know they have a big special event for all his people there in Anderson. Frick's Driving School is one of our sponsors. Han Funeral Home, and again, we're here at Corby's. Everything that we have had a chance to do here, we appreciate their their contest. Hey, we got high school football right next to us.
Yes.
And, locally, tomorrow for a certain group of people is the Holy War.
Oh, my.
So this is this year's edition of St. Joe and Mishawaka Marion.
That's going to be a dandy. St. Joe's off to the 3-0 start. Drew, you and I saw them week one and very impressed with what St. Joe has brought to the table. This group is believing in what Ben Downey's selling. I mean, they are blocking well, they're running well, they're throwing well. Of course, Kenny and Pat, you saw them last week against New Prairie, and this obviously is for a lot of bragging rights for the next 364 days. Hey, we beat you. No, we beat you. It's like the soccer last night. Boys and girls, Marion won the Holy War in boys and girls soccer last night.
This is the week, isn't it?
This is the week. And this is, if you don't win any other game the rest of the year, you beat your rival. That's big time.
Now, I now answer this one real quick. Are they in the same sectional?
No, they are not, because St. Joe's 4A.
They're
Marion's,
up to 4A now.
And what's interesting, you bring that up, when they were in the same sectional, the winner of the regular season game was usually the loser in the sectional.
Okay.
And that happened, I don't know how many, numerous times.
Well, and in addition to that, as we said, we got Marion, and it's at St. Joe, which is right across, down the street 2 blocks. Penn is here in town against South Bend, Washington. Kenny and I will be out at New Prairie for the South Bend Adams game.
That's a sneaky game.
That one probably might be the most even game of the 4.
And you've seen, we've seen Adams, you've seen New Prairie. Adams is getting better. I know they beat CMA, but you kind of got to give a pass on CMA because a lot of their kids weren't there until like August 6th, so they didn't have a lot of practice time. And CMA is getting better, and they'll be a force come tournament time. Adams, they're getting better. We saw them against Logansport. They did some good things, but they've got a lot of holes. But I think you're right. I think a young New Prairie team against a pretty athletic Adams team, that could be a pick 'em.
That should be it should be a pick 'em. And then South Bend Riley's over at 6A Elkhart, which
good luck with that.
That one may not be very good.
No.
But we've had some good guys. To me, sticking with high school just for a second, the team I've been really impressed with here right off the bat's Mishawaka.
Oh yes,
they have had they've had some good games. They 2 weeks ago they play at Penn.
Should have won that game.
They had
led for 2.5 quarters. Then it went even, and then they eventually lost by a touchdown. Then they had to turn around and play Concord.
Yeah, which is a good team.
Which is another probably the next best team, and it happened to be their a conference game. And then tomorrow they go to Northwood, I believe.
Yeah, they play at Northwood, so that they've got a rugged schedule. But and I know Keith Kinder was your guest last week on the show, and I watched a little bit of the archive on that. And he's got a good football team. You've got a Fisher on the team, you're going to be good. Obviously, the Fishers are still there,
and they got Fishers and Snyders.
Yep, and they run the ball. They've got good, solid defense, and they're going to be a tough out.
Well, I can't remember what the fullback's name is. But he had over 250 some yards rushing by himself last week, as I recall.
Reminds me of the guy from Logansport, Baldini, who had 202 against Adams week 2.
Oh boy,
had almost 200 last week.
That was that game last week. I think was back and forth. They ended up 38-35 or something
like that.
Lots of points. Exactly. So I think they're anticipating a lot of points next week because Northwood put up a lot of points. They put 51 on New Prairie 2 weeks ago.
When their offense is on, they're tough to beat. Their problem is their defense. They've got some holes in their defense right now. They're giving up a lot of points. But I guess the goal is to outscore your opponent. I suppose that's what it's supposed to be.
They're going to have to.
They're going to have to against Mishawaka, and that's going to be hard with that option that Mishawaka runs. That is so hard to defend, and Northwood's going to have their hands full tomorrow night.
Over in the Duneland, the team to beat right now is still Crown Point.
What a surprise!
They are the measuring stick right now. They go to Lake Central, who right now Lake Central, Merrillville are probably the next best.
Those are 1, 2, 3, probably in that order in the Duneland.
I agree. LaPorte's at Chesterton. Michigan City goes to Valpo. That one should be a close ball game.
Michigan City, I haven't seen them yet, but I've talked to some friends over in the LaPorte area. They're sneaky good.
Yeah.
They haven't had a lot of success here early, but don't take the Wolves lightly.
Well,
they've got some good wide receivers.
They played a good Lafayette Jeff team a couple weeks ago and had a good close game with them. Portage is at Merrillville. No. Hey, I was looking at some of the smaller schools too around the area. We kind of neglected them. There's a 6-team conference here. Bremen at LaVille. What do you know about? You guys have seen
we saw Bremen last week.
What do you tell me a little bit about Bremen?
They run the football. They run the football.
They run it
and run
it some more.
They struggle to pass the ball.
Yeah, they struggle to pass it.
3rd and 7.
3rd and 7,
They're-
we're going to run the ball.
They're going to run it.
But when you've got a couple of good backs that they have, and Drew, you and I were on the call of that game last week with Bremen, very impressed with Moser and the other young man that was running the ball for Bremen. They can run the football. Their line's pretty good. Their defense has still got a few problems. But, yeah, one thing that Bremen does not have is they cannot throw the football.
Yeah.
So they're going to put
run
7 or 8 in the box and just dare them to throw.
Yeah, pretty, and that's what Boone Grove did last week. But obviously, Boone Grove is a smaller
There's
school. They've got a very young team. If you look down their roster, they have 24 freshmen on their roster, on their varsity roster,
that's always
and
hard.
a lot
That's
of
tough.
sophomores. They've got 3 quarterbacks, 2 are freshmen, one's the sophomore. The
That's-
sophomore came in for the freshman, and they're struggling. But they did. They put, as you saw, Drew, they loaded 8, 9 guys in the box and dared Bremen to run it, and Bremen ran it right down their throat.
Interesting.
Yeah, the issue for Boone Grove was when they were running it down the middle, they could hold them anywhere between 4 and 8 yards. But when they did the counters, when they did, kind of the off tackle powers,
Any kind of
they
misdirection.
used their speed. If they could get past the linebacker, I mean, they had 4 or 5 runs of 50-plus yards.
And the 2 of you are going to be at Jimtown this week, right? Your
Yep,
old stomping
Jimtown
ground.
Glen.
Jimtown and John Glenn. Give me a preview of that.
Well, I think last week for Jimtown was a huge week. Obviously, they beat Fairfield 29-28 on a last-minute touchdown, went for 2 and was able to get it. It was their first win on the season, but also it was a win over their previous head coach. Corey Stoner went to Fairfield from Jimtown,
Right.
brought in Cody Vincent, but that was a huge momentum win. This one, obviously, first game in conference play. I mean, Jimtown, Bremen, Glenn, all 3 want to run the ball, want to run it down your throat, want to control the clock, and they're going to play tough-nosed defense. I think the biggest thing that's going to be kind of looking at the game is going to be, can Jimtown use the momentum of last week, getting their first win, and not have it as kind of like we talk about it in college and pros, let down, look ahead.
Mm.
You use that momentum from last week instead of, we beat our former coach,
Mhm.
because a lot of these guys were there when Stoner was the coach.
Right.
So can they use the momentum from last week? Because both teams want to, like I said, both teams want to run the ball. It'll be interesting to see how the defenses react to one another, because we've gone from the NSC to the NIC to the INSC now. They were both in the same conference the whole time. When they went to the NIC, they were both in the smaller school conference together. So both schools know each other very
there's
well.
No surprises.
Yeah.
All right. And the last game in that conference is, can anybody beat Knox?
No.
Not
Is
in the
McLaughlin on the field or off the field?
Good point. My gosh, I think I read he has over 1,000 yards in 3 games.
McLaughlin, nobody's going to stop him. And he's a candidate for Mr. Football.
Sure
and
he is.
Likely should
Has
be.
Knox ever had a Mr. Football?
They have not. He would be their first Mr. Football in school history.
Well, that would be monumental
Now-
for the size schools they have, and they play Tippy Valley's in
They won the
tournament
conference
time.
last year.
Tippy Valley's been good.
And they played North Judson, who we know is a two-way
Mhm.
power here, and they blasted them week number 1. And Russ says, I want to play the big boys because that gets ready for the tournament. They
Sure.
have struggled. They can win the – I know they shared it with Jimtown a year ago. Regular season is one thing, but then they get in the tournament, they might get through their section, but then in that regional round, they run into somebody, and that's what's hurt them. And he said they've upped their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
They can play some of these bigger schools so they can be ready come tournament time and play.
Because Knox
3A.
is 2A.
Yep.
Tippy Valley's a big 3. Is
They're
that
a
right?
huge 3A.
Yeah,
they're
they're-
almost 4A. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Here I have one game that you guys are sleeping on that's not in this region.
Okay.
The defending 6A state champs, the Brownsburg Bulldogs, go to Avon
mhm.
in the War of Hendricks County.
Take on the Orioles. Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's a neighborhood battle, isn't it?
And me, as a former Avon resident for all of 9 months.
Yeah. You know a little bit about all that
Oh,
area.
yeah.
Well, hey, let's go through that real quick with the we mentioned a couple in the Northern Lakes. We met Goshen's at Plymouth. That's enough.
That's enough.
We mentioned Mishawaka at Northwood. Northridge is 0-3, and they go to Concord. That's
be
not
0-4
gonna,
at
that's
the end of
not
the night.
that's not going to help them any.
No, it's not. They're really struggling.
And Wawasee's at Warsaw, so they've
that's-
got as an outsider, there's one good game in the conference that week.
I'll be interested to see, and this is no knock on the schedule, what Northwood does against Mishawaka, because we've talked about this personally. Northwood lost their quarterback like 2 weeks before the season.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been kind of gluing together an offense with their backup quarterback. It'll be interesting to see if Mishawaka can kind of adjust their defense enough to throw him off.
Well, Kenny and I kind of had the opinion that the two brothers, the quarterback and the wide receiver, were their best two players. And from what I understand,
backyard football.
They were Elkhart boys once
Yep.
upon a time.
Yep.
Left town, Indianapolis, maybe
Yeah, I think they
Texas,
went
someplace.
down
I can't remember.
I remember where they went. Yeah.
And they've come back. And now they're in Napanee and going to Northwood.
Big difference between Indianapolis and
I-
Texas.
well,
isn't there?
For-
a little bit
if
of
you're
a-
up here,
Little
you're out of town.
Yeah.
Scott mentioned Brownsburg. Brownsburg's at Avon. That's number 1 and number 11. So you got two of the top 20 teams. And we said Crown Point's at Lake Central. That's a state game.
Yep.
Neighborhood games again. You've got Hamilton Southeastern and Fishers. That's
And he is also a former Fishers resident.
that's always a fun one there. Those being from the same school district, and
And played twice last year, I
think they're in the same
And
section.
it was kind of like one of you had mentioned earlier, the winner of the rivalry game normally loses in the tournament.
That's what happened with
And
St. Joe and Marion. Whoever won the regular season usually did not win in the
And
tournament.
I think HSE won in the regular season last year, and Fishers beat them in the sectional.
Is that how it worked?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Well, Westfield has a home game with Noblesville. Sorry, growing up in that area,
Hey,
it's still
Noblesville has a Costco now. on 37.
Noblesville kind of still, the Nobles Tucky kind of still slips out on me. Penn's at Washington, as we mentioned. Carmel goes to Louisville. They
Dang,
play
your score there.
Trinity.
And that, and we had the breaking news today where Carmel and Senator Grove are going to rejoin the MIC
Mhm.
next school year.
Now
I
remind
guess they
remind
find
us
any greener pastures.
who's in the MIC. Ben Davis, Warren,
Warren Central,
Decatur Central,
Gator Central,
Pike.
I'd have to look.
I'm on
North
Harold's
Central.
website right
Yeah,
now.
so am I.
I would. It's
I
it's,
can do it.
it's your suburban schools. It's the box around.
So obviously Carmel and Senator Grove couldn't find any greener pastures.
Well, if you think about it, you got IPS in the middle. Now I just remember there's a box that goes around it, and those are all your county schools are in there.
Now, do we think they're rejoining because they couldn't find another conference to go to?
Do we need to
Or-
worry? I don't.
Well, I don't think it matters, but could they not find another conference that wanted them?
I don't.
Or were they having trouble scheduling people?
I don't think it's a basketball football issue. I think it's a
Football.
country club sport
Well, yeah.
issue.
Well, look at Carmel and swimming. They've won the girls swimming and boys swimming
It's
state
just
title.
the Carmel
18,
Invitational.
Yeah, 30 some times.
Yeah, and I joked with one of the assistant commissioners, Brian Strong, who's the AD at Low, and I joked with him about that. I said, why even have a state boys and girls swimming tournament? Might as well just save the money, save the rent money, save the other money, and just give the trophy to Carmel. Why bother?
Right.
He just laughs.
I can understand that.
And I think you're right, because the country club sports, because
It's
your
also-
wife went to Carmel, and she
Yep.
told us, we went down there for a girls basketball game one year. They get those kids in the pool 3-4 years old learning short strokes.
We were driving through Carmel yesterday, and on the Welcome to Carmel sign, it said like Swim City USA.
Yeah,
and my wife's
absolutely.
like, "Why is that?" And I'm like, "Because they won like 35
Yeah.
straight
It's not
state
even-
championships."
It is that, but it's not even that. They've had, I want to say, 5 or 6 Olympians in
Yeah.
the pool.
Here's
Yeah.
here's a game that I could mention that.
Here, hang on.
Go ahead.
The MIC is the two Lawrences, Warren, Ben Davis,
Okay.
North Central, and Pike.
Okay.
There you go.
So up around the top.
You're welcome for the research department.
There you go. Research and development. When IU's got a football game Friday night, right?
Against Indiana State.
All right. They have a home game against Indiana State. Now, as a traditionalist, how smart is that to play a college football game on a Friday night in Indiana?
Not smart at all.
I'm going to add.
You don't
I'm,
do that.
I'm going to throw some more gasoline on the fire. Guess who plays each other Friday night? Bloomington North and Bloomington South play each other
So you got a rivalry
on Friday night.
So now you're going to make fans choose. Either do you go to the South North game, or do you go to IU?
They'll
and
go
Indiana
to the
State?
South North.
Confirmed.
game.
Kurt
I mean,
Signetti hates Indiana. He hates our state. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, who?
Actually, no,
I
I say
wouldn't disagree with
Keep
that.
him.
I'm just you know,
IU deserves him.
Now the game is at Bloomington South, which I think will alleviate a little bit of the
Yeah,
traffic.
if it was at North, that'd be a problem because North is right at the exit. You would go off of 69 to go to IU, and that'd be all kinds of traffic problems.
Exactly. Another game. Hey, Chatard and Cathedral for Indianapolis people. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Chatard and Cathedral are and Roncalli are your big schools down
the
there.
Folks up the street don't really care
No.
for Chatard.
and yeah, you're exactly right. And from our old neighborhood, Eastbrook plays Alexandria, undefeated Alexandria this week.
Oh boy!
So anyway, Scott, let's take a break real quick. Let's come back. We'll talk some college football, and then we'll talk about the pros a little bit.
Okay. Here, if you look at your screen, everybody that's watching, here is IU's campus, or here's the football stadium, and here's Bloomington North. So John was right. John has some wisdom. Anyway, we will get back with you on all that, whatever else we want to talk about right after this. Looking to get your driver's license? Frick's Driving School in Mishawaka makes it easy with the Indiana State Driving Exam in-house for just $65. No formal driver's education is required. If you're 16 years and 270 days old, which is like 9 months, and have held an Indiana learner's permit for at least 180 days, which is like 6 months, you're eligible. Frick's provides the vehicle. All you need to do is bring a ride to and from the office. The exam only takes about 20 minutes, and you can walk out with your official Indiana driver's license. To schedule, call 574-256-0650 or visit fricksdrivered.com.
Finding private health insurance can be stressful. What if it didn't have to be? I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I prefer to personally meet with my clients so I can get a better understanding of your needs and budget. I can even review your current coverage. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
Han Funeral Homes, located at 505 West 8th Street in Mishawaka, continues a proud tradition built on one promise of family serving families. With deep roots in the community, Han Funeral Homes offers traditional burial, cremation services, and now pet cremation options, providing compassionate care for every member of the family. Families in Mishawaka have long trusted Hans to guide them with dignity, understanding, and personal attention through life's most difficult moments. For more information, visit them online at hanfuneralhomes.com or call 574-255-1474. Han Funeral Homes, a family serving families. Thinking about retirement, Harbor Group Planned Wealth helps you answer the big questions like when to draw Social Security, how to manage investment risk, and what health insurance might cost. Wondering if you can earn part-time income after 62 without losing benefits, or if retiring could actually feel like getting a raise. They've got answers and a plan to guide you. Call the Harbor Group at 765-393-1074 or visit harborgroup.com. That's harborgroup.com. Back with more Coach's Corner with Heck and King. Thanks as always to the Black Sedan Band for the music coming in and out of these breaks. If you're interested in booking them, they do travel. Head on over to blacksedanband.com and give a special shout out to their drummer, who happens to be Heck's brother. And now, here's more Heck and King.
Hey, welcome back to Corby's Irish Pub here in beautiful South Bend. We're starting to get some out-of-towners coming in here for the game. I bet if we talk to Kenny right here and see who his friends are, they might be A&M people. You never know.
Well,
The guy wearing the
With the Notre Dame, yep.
the Notre Dame gear.
Not that
Yeah.
guy. It's the other guy.
There's a few A&M gears in here.
Hey, let's talk college football for a little bit. Who is the feature game this week? There's still a lot of tomato can games.
There's one down in Knoxville that might be interest of you. Tennessee,
Yeah.
Georgia.
Okay, I agree.
There's actually a few good games this
That's
week.
one of them.
Well, that's what I need to. That's what I was interested in.
You got that one. Clemson and Georgia Tech is honestly a really sneaky good game.
Clemson's only favored by 2.5. I put it in the show notes.
By the way, I'll let you know we do this college football pick. I'm taking the Jackets. They're going to beat Clemson.
Oh boy.
That's everybody's sexy pick this week.
It is.
Saturday noon, Oregon, Northwestern, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Wisconsin, Alabama, 3:30 slot, USC at Purdue, South Florida, and Miami. South Florida coming off of 2 pretty good wins.
Mm-hmm. How
after
good
being
are they, right?
Yeah. Did you guys see the controversy of the one AP voter that put Florida
They
moved Florida up
Yeah,
after
I
they
saw that.
lost?
Yeah.
Let's see, late game, Ohio State, Western Michigan, Illinois, Florida at LSU, and then obviously the one we have down the street here, A&M Notre Dame. So yeah, it's not week 1 with the high octane matchups, but there's some good ones.
And we're starting to get a few conference games, more conference games. Is that right?
Yeah, American, you got Navy at Tulsa.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be interesting.
Not this week, but last week you had NC State and Virginia play in a non-conference ACC game.
Yeah, because they had scheduled each other before they had joined the conference.
Conference.
I laugh at a conference game of Southern Cal at Purdue.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's going to be even funnier when like Washington and USC play. Like, Big Ten powerhouses.
But
Big Ten at night.
Yeah,
Big
Big
Ten
Ten after
Has-
dark.
Has Southern
11
Cal
o'clock at
has
night.
Southern Cal ever played at Ross-Ade
I
for a
doubt
season
it.
game? I
I
wouldn't
don't
know
think-
why they would.
well,
That's usually a Rose Bowl game.
Let me ask
Well-
ChatGPT.
I bet that's never happened.
And they were
At
talking
least in
about
football.
they were talking about all the changes they had to make. They're going to ride on a different plane because it's different riding 4.5, 5 hours on a plane, as you would know, to maybe just an hour if they're on the West
Mhm.
Coast somewhere. They're going to have their sleep schedules adjusted. They're doing all this stuff to get ready to play at Ross-Ade because
Well, it's a
too-
3-hour time
Yeah,
difference.
Exactly.
Well, you talk about that. Michigan State
Michigan
travels
State
to
at
Washington,
at
and
Washington
they
or at
play
SC.
at
or-
11
Yep,
o'clock
exactly.
our
Yeah.
time.
That's okay for them.
Yeah, it's still messy.
11
Yeah.
at night.
11 at night.
Oh, I beg your
8,
pardon.
11 at
8
night, yeah.
Pacific
It's 8
start.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nighttime
Oh.
Pacific,
So
11 o'clock
so that
at
game
night.
won't be over till 2:30 in the morning.
Oh boy, that sounds like
Big
a,
10 after dark.
that's
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
like going British Open or something.
Here's the answer to our question. Has USC played at Purdue in football? September 25th, 1976, USC visited West Lafayette and beat Purdue 31-13. That is
I'm-
one of the only times they played at Purdue.
Had to be a obviously that was a
Obviously a
non-conference
non-conference
game,
game,
one of
yeah.
the first couple of games of the season.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
76. Last week, I was looking at some of the road games. Vanderbilt had a nice win last week. Is that right?
They sure did.
I think they surprised some people. Illinois was favored, but that Illinois Duke game was supposed to be closer, I think, than they anticipated. I think it was a 3-point spread, and they won.
I'll be honest.
They won
I
by
think
4
Duke-
touchdowns.
I think Duke would have won. They turned the ball over 6 times.
Well, yes, okay.
There's
Because
a
it was a close game
yeah.
throughout. Duke had the lead. Illinois came back. Duke had the lead. They kept getting to the quarterback. Mensa, highest paid transfer coming from Tulane to Duke, fumbled it like
Well,
4
you know
times.
who Duke's playing this weekend?
Tulane.
Tulane.
I think for entertainment purposes, I think probably the most fun game I watched was the Iowa State game.
That was
Fun to watch,
rock chalk.
especially when we really didn't care who won.
Here.
Just wanted to watch a good ball game.
Let me add another point to the Duke Illinois game. There's a good follow on Twitter. His name's Parker Fleming. He's at Statso War, and he puts out a metric that shows like a success rate for your team. And he puts out a graphic every week, and I'm showing it on the screen right now. Did we really get beat that bad? And in the Duke Illinois case, Illinois' success rate was negative, but they still ended up winning the game. So yes, Duke probably, if they took care of the ball a little bit more, they probably would have ended up winning.
When
but
you turn
he's
the ball over 6
Not going
times,
to win.
well, right. What's Bob Knight say? Victory favors the team making fewer mistakes.
yeah, one of his quotes.
Or did Confucius say that?
Same guy, I think.
Same guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Depending if you're an IU person, is the same guy. You know, you guys have got a little game going on with Super Dogs.
Yes, we do.
Explain your Super Dog game that you guys have that's going on between.
We're gonna let Drew do this.
Okay.
So it's a college game day segment. They have their super dogs, and basically, I'm not sure what their spread is, but you look at all the games and you pick a team that has, for us, we're picking a spread higher than 10. So, in my case, last week I picked James Madison to cover their, I think it was a 15.5-point spread.
Okay.
They ended up losing by 14, but they covered the spread, so I won.
Okay. So like
So-
this week, for example, let's pick the Alabama-Wisconsin game. I mean, that's going to be a feature game. Everybody's saying, okay, Wisconsin's got to go to Tuscaloosa. It's the point spread's 20.5. So basically three
So
touchdowns.
if you pick Wisconsin and they lose by 19 all the way to win, your super dog wins.
You still win.
Yeah.
If they lose, if they lose by 20
Or
all the way, if they lose by 21 or
21
more,
21's a magic number.
yes.
So Alabama's got to beat them by 21 or more
and then you
Yes.
lose your super dog.
for Alabama for you to get your
See,
money.
and I should have taken Ball State last week as my super dog,
Oh boy.
but I got talked out of it. Now, Drew, I'm not saying you did, but a couple of people in our group talked me out of that, and I was a little disappointed. I got my super dog anyway because I took Ohio.
So those
I gave the best super dog of the week, and no one took it.
those big
And
points-
Ohio won.
Those
Yeah, they
big
did.
point
Yeah.
spreads,
Yeah.
Those big point spreads are interesting.
So who's your super dogs this week?
Mine is Central Michigan and Michigan.
Okay, the
20
Connor Stallions game.
Yeah,
27 27 and a half.
Yeah.
So 28's the magic. 27 and 28 are the
Longest,
magic number.
Exactly. Yep.
So
So I've already given you two of my picks on our game that Josh does.
interesting.
Well, so is yours.
I couldn't find a good one I really liked. I thought about the Missouri one, but I didn't like what I saw from UL 2 weeks ago. Thought about the Ohio one with how they looked against West Virginia, but I didn't like what I saw with them offensively.
Yeah.
So my gift last week to the group was I said USF would keep it close against Florida, possibly win if it got to a late game. That's exactly what happened. No one took it. So this week, I'm going to listen to my own advice. I took USF to cover the 17.5.
And that's kind of what I was thinking too, is either South Florida or Purdue cover.
I thought
20
about
and a
that
half.
Purdue game. I really did.
Because Ross Aid, like,
Well,
say what you want about Purdue football. We sell out stadiums even when we suck.
You still mentioned the fact that Southern Cal's coming three time zones east, and what
They're
statistics
used to that, though. They
Yeah.
come every other to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So
statistics
It's a new
prove
start, West Coast
do
time.
teams do better going west to east or east to west? They always talk about that in with the pros.
I think it's definitely east to
I think
west.
it's east. I would think it's east to west.
Yeah. So who's your
Is it-
super dog?
Well, I picked Central Michigan before I knew what was going on.
That's okay.
Now that I've looked through things, I'm going to mention one that nobody has is Texas and UTEP. UTEP is a 41-point underdog. That means somebody's got to run the score up on them to.
I guess the question is Arch Manning using the restroom or not?
Yeah. Do they? How long do they let Manning play? Does he play 3 quarters? Yeah, or do they when they get up 42? Do they pull him?
See, and I
don't
think
know.
that's the interesting thing about the in-state rivalry games is like Ohio versus Ohio State. Like they're not like they recruit the same players. They kind of got to maintain a relationship with each other as coaches and everything. So you can't really run up the score on a team like that. So I think 30 and a half for Ohio State's a little low, but I don't know. I couldn't imagine a game that's like 31-3.
I'm pretty sure last time, I don't know if it was Ohio or if it was Akron, but I'm pretty sure I saw
You don't go out there
to,
and try to embarrass them though.
No, Ohio State won.
Yeah.
Kind of like last week, 70.
Yeah. Like if you're
I wanna
running
say
the ball right up the middle and they just
Scramble.
can't-
No, I'm not.
no,
I'm talking about last time they played in-state.
I'm
So is IU going to run the score up on ISU?
probably Kurt Signetti's a tool.
Google him.
Yeah, Google him.
Stop.
I loved that last year. Everybody was so mad at Ryan Day for having him score that touchdown at the end against IU, and I'm like, hey, Kurt Signetti wants to run his mouth. You better be able to back it up.
Now they're only a 48.5 point favorite.
Hey, Indiana State was Purdue's only win last year, so
There
what's
you
that
go.
say?
Hey, jump back to last week. I was in Indianapolis. I got to visit with some of my former teammates from down at Butler. Butler played a team called Truman State,
Okay.
Division II school.
Truman was a president, not a state.
in the same conference with I believe University of Indianapolis. And they're Grand Valley State, that league.
Okay.
So good football.
Did Dewey beat
good,
them?
good football. Well, it's interesting you mentioned because one of the topics everybody was mentioning was, where is Truman
He didn't get
State? And I told him, because nobody knew. And I said, well, the name Truman, does that give you a hint where it is? Because I'd already looked it up. I knew where they were.
I kind of want to say
They are north and
area.
north and west of St. Louis. Does that give you
Okay, well,
give
nope,
you a hint?
I didn't know. I didn't.
Yep,
know.
they were in Missouri, so they made the trip to Indianapolis. So it was a good win for Butler. Butler won by I think it was 10, and it was a good win for them. 38-28, I think was the final score of that one.
So Blue got extra kibble Saturday.
Yes, he did. Well, it's interesting.
In case anybody didn't get my joke, it's on the screen.
I got your joke.
I saw the Dewey.
Dewey defeats Truman.
Thank you. And this week, for anybody that cares, they actually go to Hanover and play Division III Hanover down on the river.
Watch out for those Presbyterians.
So they've jumped. If the first game of the season, they played Northern Iowa.
Oh, geez.
And got waxed pretty good. And last week they played a team, so they've gone 3 different levels.
Oh, wow.
They played one to get some money. Last week they played a game that they hoped they could win. And then this week they're going down to Hanover planning to win. And then they'll start their conference season from there.
Maybe they'll take a trip downtown and look at the river.
You don't have to go very far.
No, you don't.
No, the college is right on the river.
Yes, it is.
In fact, the football stadium's right there on Highway 62. So anyway. Hey, before we shift gears, let's talk Notre Dame. We mentioned them earlier. Can they beat A&M? What's your opinion on that?
Can they? Yes.
I'll let you go
Are they
first.
capable of doing so?
Like we do on broadcast, I have expanded.
Yeah, you have expanded thoughts. I think they can. I think there will be improvement on both sides of the football. I really think that the defense is going to have to watch out for the A&M quarterback as he has improved his game. He can throw it down the field a little bit more. I think if Notre Dame can lean on their running game and get Love and Price active early and get them going and put pressure on that Texas A&M defense, I think that will pay a lot of dividends for Notre Dame. Defense, we'll see. I think they can do this because, Texas A&M has been giving up a lot of yards on the defensive side, both offensive running and passing. And with the two-headed monster, if Notre Dame can get that running game going, that takes a little pressure off of C.J. Carr.
Who has A&M played so far?
UTSA and Texas State?
Utah
State.
Utah State, and then they played UT San Antonio. Okay.
Yeah. So I think they can. They're going to have to really show improvement on both sides of the line. Whoever wins on the trenches is going to win the game.
Drew, what's your opinion?
I have 3 ways we can look at this. The first way, can they win? First of all, yes, they can. First way to look at this is offensively. I understood why they did it, but at this point, just cut out the RPOs because they're going to load the box, and as a quarterback, you're going to read a loaded box and throw it outside. I think they've given up a lot, as you said, a lot on the ground. So you handed it off to 4, you hand it off to 24. The only big thing is if it gets to 3rd and medium to 3rd and long, Aeneas Williams is still in the brace. He was their 3rd down protection back. So you now have Jeremiah Love as your 3rd down protection back. He's taken more hits than really he needs to. He's getting out more in the open in the passing game, but you need to run the ball or throw it down the field. You can't throw it sideline to sideline.
And maybe include the tight end a little more than they did the first game.
The issue is they only have really one healthy tight end. Ty Washington coming from Arkansas. He's had a wrist injury coming out of summer into camp. So he's been limited. And then obviously they lost a super senior because he's just struggled with injuries, ACLs, Achilles, all that. And then obviously you lost Cooper Flanagan end of last year, so he won't be back till end of this year. And then you have a now redshirt freshman coming back from ACL injury, and you have a true freshman. So they really only have Raritan at the tight end room. They need to use him more. I will agree with you, but they didn't use him as much because they were doing RPOs side to side.
Mm-hmm.
Run the ball or throw it down the field.
All right, both of you been talking offense.
That's
all
the
I've
second part.
all I've heard is all I heard in preseason was how good their defense was.
That's where my second part is.
Okay.
Defensively,
Continue.
they had a lot of rotation on the defensive line, which down in South Florida you need. But I felt like their rotations were kind of weird. You were substituting, Bryce Young. You were substituting Bubakar Traore off the field in passing downs. You were having them on the field and running downs when they're your pass rushers.
Okay.
You were having defensive ends at the end of the game where they hadn't seen a whole lot of action during the game. So your main defense, I just felt like they weren't out there a lot in key moments.
So they didn't have their best people on the field in key
Yes.
moments.
And I think that is Chris Ash, first game in, trying to figure out his rotations.
Learning personnel. And
I think the bye week comes at a huge time, so he can learn again. You have, your linebackers. They have great linebackers. They didn't rotate well, I thought. Defensive line didn't rotate well. And honestly, defensively, your secondary, how many times is Leonard Moore going to get beat on a double move? Very rarely. At the same time,
he's going to get beat when the quarterback has time to throw.
how many? Yes, but not on a double move. At the same time,
Or when it's Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
that too. that was Christian Gray. That's
Oh,
what
that's true. Okay,
Jeremiah Smith
Emeka Ibuka.
literally said the best cornerback he saw last year was Leonard Moore as a freshman. But you coupled that with Adon Schuler just not being aggressive to the ball. He just kind of waited back as a punt return, allowed the one-handed grab. You're not going to have that this week on the secondary. If they can understand their rotations better, I think that helps them. The biggest thing defensively, and as an offensive defensive line, as a coach, you'll understand this. Rushing lanes are going to be the biggest factor in this game. You have Reed, who likes to run the ball.
Yeah.
He's an okay thrower, not the best thrower, but if he can get out of the pocket and run down the field, that's where he's most explosive. So rushing lanes are going to be important. And that thirdly is obviously special teams. Punting-wise, I thought they didn't do bad. I thought there were a couple times that it came off the foot wonky. But I think field goal kicking is going to be huge this game for both teams. And then field position for both teams is going to be huge. So defensively, if we can figure out rotations, I think it's going to be fine. Offensively, we need to put CJ Carr in better position and hand the ball off more. But I think if we can control the field position, that's how we can control if we can win the game.
He's got it broken down pretty well, doesn't he?
He does. I think the defense, they've got to get some pressure on Marcel Reed. He's a dual threat. And I think if they can get some pressure on him, that's going to take some of that pressure off the secondary.
Pressure while maintaining your rush lanes.
I agree. I
If
totally
you
agree.
don't maintain your rush lanes, what could have been just a 4-yard pass is going to be an 80-yard touchdown.
How good are
run
Notre Dame's
in
D
celebration.
tackles? Can they get pressure up the middle while the ends contain?
They can, but honestly, Texas A&M offensive line is the same size as Miami's offensive line. So I think they need to figure out their rotations because you saw there wasn't a lot of pressure last week or 2 weeks ago
Right.
when they were rushing 4.
I was going to say last week they played themselves.
Yes. But if they can contain on the outside, I think even if the defensive tackles can stay in front and allow the edge rushers just to try and get in there, and if he squeaks out, you have Drake Bowen, you have KVA, you have Snead, you have Osbury. One of them just kind of spy Reed because they're all athletic enough to do it. If you have your defensive tackles rushing and stay, have their integrity stay, you have your outside defensive ends rush the corners. If he squirts out, you have one of your athletic linebackers right there just waiting for him. If they can continue and do that for the game, and the secondary should be able to hold up, I think this is looking more toward a 27-17 kind of game.
Okay, so it's going to be – I really think it's going to be a close ball game.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think
it will.
Spread's only like 6.
Yeah, I think the fourth quarter is going to be a big deal, and it has to do with how many turnovers people have. And I think a lot of it will be you're going to first half. If Notre Dame doesn't get off to a good half, I think the Boo Birds are going to come out and let them know run the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time CJ Carr throws an incompletion, you're going to hear people going run the ball.
You guys seen The Blind Side?
Yeah.
You know when Sandra Bullock gets in the
Run the
cup,
ball.
enough with the trick plays, Bert. Run the dang ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, all right. Well,
And
we
when you
got that
those
figured out.
backs. You got to utilize them more.
Yeah. Well,
No.
I don't think there's any question.
I find
about
it
that.
funny though that I'm looking at A&M's stats here. They've only, as a team, rushed for 343 yards in what two games. I mean, that's 150 a game.
How many
but they're
passing yards they have, though?
610.
Yeah,
Marcel Reed has 509.
they've been working on their passing game the first 2 games.
Yeah, he's for the season so far. He's 41 of 62 for 509. That's 66%. 7 touchdowns, no picks, only taken 1 sack.
Yeah. That's
They
what-
know what they have on the
172.4.
ground
and you're gonna.
with
Yeah.
and
their
so then they're
backs.
going to say, okay, who have they played?
But Marcel Reed is also their leading rusher.
Yes.
Which I think
Yeah,
is interesting.
Yes.
That it's kind of like what Oklahoma did. They don't really have a
Mateer?
rushing game. Yeah, with John Mateer, they don't really have a rushing game with their backs.
No.
They just kind of hope John Mateer back there can scramble around and get yards when you need it and
Well, I
and
think
all that.
we can all be honest. If Notre Dame didn't have Jeremiah Love, that's what they would have done last year with Riley Leonard. It would have been he's their leading rusher. And
Well, it's like in the national title game. I texted him after that first drive. I'm pointing at him. Yeah. I texted him after the first drive. I said, Notre Dame may not score again because they're trying to kill Riley Leonard right now.
Yeah.
And
he went on the sideline and
Threw up.
threw
puked
up
was
and had to
hitting the
get
oxygen.
yeah.
Well, they did. They wore him out.
So I it's good for Notre Dame that CJ Carr at least can throw the ball a little bit.
I felt the game plan, and I know this is just me non-analytical, but more as a fan. I literally looked to my friend Dylan and said, wait, I thought Riley Leonard left. Why are we running the ball with our quarterback?
Yeah.
With the freshman quarterback.
It's like the transition for me between JT Barrett and Dwayne Haskins. Like, save me, JT. Just QB power to the right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, that's enough college football for a little bit. How's that? So I
You
guess
can never
we
have
decided
enough college
that.
football.
Well, we've got pro game on tonight.
Yes.
Then
Commanders and the Packers.
That's right. That's right.
I
Well,
just-
Scott, let's go to break number
Yeah.
2, and then we're going to come back. Let's talk about the pros when we come back.
Thinking about retirement, Harbor Group Planned Wealth helps you answer the big questions like when to draw Social Security, how to manage investment risk, and what health insurance might cost. Wondering if you can earn part-time income after 62 without losing benefits, or if retiring could actually feel like getting a raise. They've got answers and a plan to guide you. Call the Harbor Group at 765-393-1074 or visit harborgroup.com. That's harborgroup.com. Han Funeral Homes, located at 505 West 8th Street in Mishawaka, continues a proud tradition built on one promise of family serving families. With deep roots in the community, Han Funeral Homes offers traditional burial, cremation services, and now pet cremation options, providing compassionate care for every member of the family. Families in Mishawaka have long trusted Hans to guide them with dignity, understanding, and personal attention through life's most difficult moments. For more information, visit them online at hanfuneralhomes.com or call 574-255-1474. Han Funeral Homes, a family serving families.
Medicare plans can be confusing, but they don't have to be. I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I can help you compare your options because I'm appointed with many nationally recognized carriers. With my help, you can find the coverage that fits your needs and budget. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
Looking to hit the road with confidence? Frick's Driving School in Mishawaka has been helping drivers of all ages gain the skills they need for a lifetime of safe driving. With experienced, patient instructors, including our very own Pat King, and flexible scheduling options, Frick's makes learning to drive easy and stress-free. Whether you're a first-time driver or need a refresher like our own Ron Heklinski, Frick's has you covered. Plus, for just $65, they offer the state driving exam in-house. No need to go anywhere else. Visit fricksdrivered.com or you can call 574-256-0650 to get started today. Back again with more Coach's Corner. Shout out, as always, to the Black Sedan Band, now in their... Well, they've been with us since the start. We'll just say that. They do travel, so if you're interested in booking a great cover band, go to blacksedanband.com or you can check them out on YouTube after you're done watching us, of course. Now here's more Heck and King.
Hey, welcome back. As you can see here by the cast of characters we have tonight, Heck's not here tonight. Heck is in Newcastle, and he's at
Doing a little politicking,
he's at
isn't
one
he?
of the Hall of Fame meetings that has. And tonight's the night when they bring new names to the Hall of Fame to see who can be nominated for the class of 26 into the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. And Heck's doing some heavy politicking to get Coach Mark Johnson in there.
Well, I
Which
told
is
Heck, and I
well
told Heck,
deserving.
yeah, it would be. It really would be. I told Heck, though, I said, one of the qualifications to get Johnson in there, he's got to write his book of puns.
Oh,
Because when we were doing a lot of Riley basketball, when he was the head coach at Riley, you sit down and do a pregame interview like I did with you when you were
Sure.
in Adams, and he would come up with pun after pun
Oh.
after pun after pun. And I
He-
told him he's got to write a book.
he's got some one-liners,
Yeah, he
that's for
does.
sure.
He does.
And you know, and the thing is, he is probably the connection to back to the old school, because
Yes.
he coached in the 70s and 80s with Leonakis over at LaSalle.
Well, yep.
That's where he first started with the Magley boys. He was there when Pat Magley was Mr. Basketball in 78 as an assistant.
That or
Then
David.
David.
Yeah.
Pat was okay.
I went to LaSalle. I saw his.
You
I
saw his
saw his
picture
poster
every
every
day.
day.
That's right.
And Dave's jersey is still up in the gym at LaSalle.
Yes, it is.
Pat is the one that runs the Heroes Camp here.
Exactly. I think he went to Adams.
He went to Adams, yes.
So
He's one of us Eagles.
but
Lions,
and then Mark. I think I met him when he was. He might have been coach at Lewis Cass for a year. Then he was at Dwenger and did
Yep.
very well at
Yep,
Dwenger.
Yep.
And I think at one time, didn't he coach with Homer Drew over
He
at
did.
Valpo?
He went to Valpo for 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
Coached with Homer, yeah.
And then he came back to town. And when I came to town in the 90s, he was coaching at LaSalle.
Yep.
And did very well for himself.
'Cause they won the sectional the year they closed.
They dropped LaSalle down to 3A and got to the regional.
Yep.
Did they lose in the regional
they did.
thing?
Yeah, they won the sectional that year, and then they ended up losing.
And that was
the
their last year.
Yep.
So Scott, when you went through there as 5th and 6th, 7th grader, you got to wear the old. They got all the hand-me-downs because there was no more high school.
Josh was at LaSalle for middle school.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. And then he was at Riley and did very well at Riley. They got to the semi-state at Riley, and then he finished up at St. Joe and got to the semi-state at St. Joe. So he's got some nice. He had a nice run.
He did.
Nice run.
And he's still involved because if you go to a practice at St. Joe, you will see him. They're
Mhm.
usually sitting there and talking to the kids, talking to Eric, maybe making some suggestions and things of that nature.
Well, and Eric was his assistant at the time, so they just kind of passed things on to him. But Mark's a great guy, and
is.
you're right. He's got more one-liners
Oh, my.
than the normal person.
He would sit in my office, or I'd sit in his office. He'd sit in my office when I was teaching at Riley. And we would sit there and he'd tell me stuff off air, and then we go on air, and he was one liner after this. He reminded me of Ken Schreiber. Because Ken Schreiber would say after a performance, we couldn't beat the Sisters of the Poor today.
Exactly.
Mark Johnson would say the same kind of thing.
Exactly. And one of his favorite lines was he always said, "Never let the truth get in the way of a good story."
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he told me that several times.
No,
He didn't come up with that. I've heard
no, that was
many
that.
times,
But
too.
yeah, he's borrowed that one, I'm sure. But just like coaches do, they borrow.
Yep.
Say, hey, let's
As long
talk.
as you give credit, then it's not.
Yeah, let's talk
plagiarizing.
pro football. Let's talk pro football a bit. Last week was week 1, and
Finally got to leave week 1 happy as a Colts
yes,
fan.
the Colts looked fantastic. I guess we jump on that. Daniel Jones finally had a line to protect him a little bit, and it didn't hurt any that Tua decided to turn the ball over twice in 2 possessions, and they jumped on the Dolphins early and just kept their foot on their neck and never let up on it.
First time week 1 victory since 2013.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I picked Miami just because of that.
And how many quarterbacks have they had since then?
A whole bunch.
6.
More than
Too
that.
many. We're becoming the Browns.
Yeah.
If the Colts win this week, which I know we'll talk about, first time the Colts go 2-0 since 2009.
Oh boy.
I know who the quarterback was then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Number 18, right?
Yep.
And they
I think he has a
Well, I
nephew
will
that
say
plays.
this.
and they put Irsay's name in the Ring of Honor.
In the Ring of Honor, yep. And I've heard that Manning's got a minority interest in the team, too. I guess he's a minority owner of the Colts
Okay.
now to
Yeah.
help out the family.
So the Colts last week, 7 for 7 on drives. They scored. Last time they did that, 2006.
Oh, I
When-
remember what happened that year.
You
Yeah,
are
exactly.
You are just
Don't tell
full,
Heck. Don't tell
Hey,
Heck who played in that Super
You are
Bowl.
just full of
Well, you know that.
information.
You know, you sat with us during
Oh,
a
I
game of the
know.
stats.
He is full of something, that's for sure. Well, the one thing I remember, and I was mentioning this before we came on, Sunday night, the Sunday night game. I went to bed at the end of the third quarter. The Ravens were up 15. And I'm
Yep.
thinking, okay, this one's over. I'm going to bed. I wake up the next morning,
They
and
had lost.
and suddenly Buffalo decided to play some football in the fourth quarter. What they scored? What, three times?
3 times. Yep.
In the fourth quarter?
Yep.
And it what
They-
ended up like 41-40?
41-40. Yeah.
That's a lot of points in a Pro Bowl.
That's why you play all 60 minutes.
I guess so. And then the next night it happens again.
Yeah.
Who was the Monday night game?
The Vikings and the Bears.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, don't tell Heck that.
Yeah, don't help tech that one.
Now,
I'm not happy with my Lions.
And-
loss.
And all I remember at halftime was they were talking about J.J. McCarthy and how bad he was. A rookie,
Exactly, yeah.
he was rusty. He couldn't do this. He couldn't do
His
that.
lifelong dream came true, though.
And
His first NFL touchdown went to the Bears.
Yeah,
oh, that's right. There was a pick
It was
six.
that.
It didn't-
Yeah.
didn't look very good.
Oh,
when he
it was
didn't know the other team's plays.
it was textbook ugly. That's for sure. But the Bears were comfortably ahead, and then the Bears
bared.
bared down, and ended up getting edged out. And unfortunately for the Bears, they've got to go to Detroit this week.
And a Lions team that's not happy.
They're not happy
losing
either.
to the Packers. So they, so
Isn't it interesting? They're playing divisional games like
first
boom
two-
right off the
I know,
bat.
Yeah, Lions.
First
yeah,
2 weeks. That's kind of odd,
that
isn't
is
it?
weird. Yeah.
It was Ravens 34-19 at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was like the Ravens 40-23, something
Yeah.
like that.
40 to 25 with
with,
11:13 left.
In the fourth. Okay.
I want to say it was.
See, I missed
with,
all that.
minutes to go. It was still
Yeah,
like a
40 to
15-minute game.
25.
They scored twice in like the last couple minutes, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Derrick Henry fumbled.
Oh dear.
Bills scored with 3:56 left to go down 40 to 32.
And then
And
they
then-
scored another touchdown after the fumble, missed the 2-point conversion.
Mhm.
Ravens tried running the ball, couldn't do anything. And then Kyle Hamilton almost blocked the field goal, but it went right between his hands for the game-winning field goal.
Well,
Another fun fact, though, Matt Prater met the team Wednesday,
Yeah,
and they're like, who is this guy? Is he a new coach? And they're like, oh,
he's our
Matt
kicker.
Prater's still
He's
in the league.
he's our kicker.
Today I learned.
They but coming out of that, the Packers looked good, didn't they?
They
They
did.
did.
They did.
Packers looked good, and I think that wouldn't go from there. Yeah, the other teams that looked bad.
Q commented, thanks to me, like I need another reminder of Rex Grossman.
Oh no!
Hey, the game started out fantastic. for the Bears.
29-17 was the final. Devin Hester's first
All
time opening kickoff was ran back in the Super Bowl, and they lost.
and they lost. And they lost. So this week, the Bears, as we said, go to Detroit. Now tonight's game is what?
Packers and Commanders.
Yeah.
Commanders at Packers.
Now, and Thursday night games, they're usually not very good
No.
because the teams only have like 2 days to
Well,
get ready.
And John Gruden, of course, who's doing all this stuff on social media now, breaking. He said he hates Thursday night football. It's not.
Yeah.
The games are not good. It's not fair on these guys. You know, they play on Sunday, and you get 2 days to prepare. You
Mhm.
got to travel, then you play a game. And is it right to play Thursday night NFL games?
No,
I
you've got to, your rotations on substitutions have to totally change because you just can't. The guys that played hard on Sunday, they're just not ready. That's 3 days early.
Yeah.
Obviously the trade-off is they get a 10-day rest coming out of it. But in the meantime, Thursday night games are they're just not very good.
This is a little, one-sided of me, but I mean, one of the most famous quotes as an offensive lineman is, "You're basically getting in a car wreck every play as you're, fighting against defensive line and linebackers running down, and now you're expected to recover, get ready for a whole new defensive scheme potentially, and then be able to do that all over again in 3 days." I mean, I don't want to take anything away against the skill players or anything like that, but
They
That's
can't go
just-
live.
It's a little different.
You've got to go.
Yeah.
You've got to go
just a little bit.
You've got to go thud at best. On Monday and Tuesday. Thing is, you play Sunday. Usually, Then Monday they come in for films and do rehab. Tuesday they get off, and then their week starts Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and get ready. Then they travel on Saturday for a Sunday game.
Right.
Okay, you just can't do that.
John Gruden also. Where's he from?
South Bend.
South Bend, Indiana.
Yep. He's from South Bend, played at Clay High School, had a good career at Clay.
All right. Well,
I tell you what, man, I love that Andrew Luck guy.
you're killing me. All right. The Colts have a home game with Denver. They start out with 2 home games. This one's a 4:00 game.
It's
Usually-
a whiteout.
Usually the Colts play the 1:00 ball games.
And,
Yeah.
and as Drew said, they were wearing their white uniforms. They want their fans to wear white, doing a whiteout like Penn State does.
They want Tyler Warren to feel comfortable at home.
I bet he does.
Are they going to have the roof open again? They had the roof and the end window. Everything was open. People said a lot of people didn't like it because they said the shadows from the rafters were down on the field.
Oh, the shadows are terrible. I don't
Are.
when they
Well,
were
you got the
building the
supports.
stadium, I don't know how they didn't factor
Well,
in
that's all
variable.
part of the
State
roof
football
because
fund.
that's the difference between that and the old Texas Stadium, because Texas Stadium you couldn't close it, so you didn't have those shadows.
Mhm.
But that's the only thing I can compare it to. But you've got those big railroad ties or runners up there, so when the roof closes, they've got that's the tracks that it closes on.
Mhm.
So all right, so give me a good game on here. How about Seattle and Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think that'll be good.
Eagles Chiefs Sunday,
Chiefs.
Okay.
4:25.
Okay,
So
that's
Super
probably the
Bowl
feature
rematch.
game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not that it might be a good game, but the 49ers Saints is suddenly intriguing with George Kittle going on IR.
Yeah, Brock
Brock
Purdy's
Purdy
out.
now missing 2 to 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints trying to figure out their quarterback situation. Not that it's going to be a good game, but it just became a lot more interesting than it was.
Interestingly
know.
bad.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like Giants Cowboys.
Yeah, or anything the Browns touch.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, they get and they get to go to the Ravens this week. Have fun with that.
I did see that Lincoln Riley Leonard,
There's a difference.
I know.
There's the
Who are you
yeah,
talking
the,
about?
the Notre Dame quarterback.
Okay, that would be
Riley
Riley
Leonard.
He
Leonard.
was the emergency quarterback, so I don't
Yep.
think he was in uniform last week. He
so
Did the
think he
Colts
was
wave
holding-
him?
No,
no, he's quarterback 3.
He's
Okay,
the
I
number
was
3
going to say,
quarterback.
wait, what are we
But he
talking
was
about?
he was in the same situation as Shador Sanders. They were both
Yeah,
number
basically
3.
Holding a
with
clipboard.
that is they're at the stadium, they're on the sideline, but they're not part of the
They're not in
53-man
pads.
Right.
roster.
Yeah, they do.
They
They,
are
do
part-
not play.
Yeah, so
If they,
if
They're not even
if
dressed.
Jones and
Anthony
Richardson
Richardson.
goes down,
Yeah.
he then goes to the locker room, gets dressed, and comes out. He's now the quarterback.
yeah, he's in street clothes
Yes.
until he's not.
Yes.
So, all right, who's the Sunday night game? Who do I need to? Who am I going to stay up and try to make 3 quarters?
Sunday night game.
Falcons and Vikings is one of them. I don't know who
Uh,
the other one is. It's Falcons at
Falcons-
Vikings.
Yeah, it's Falcons and Vikings.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's your
that's the
Sunday,
Sunday
night
night
game.
game.
Okay.
Oh, there's 2 Monday night games.
Yeah, it's
That's right.
Buccaneers,
right.
Texans, and
Oh.
then Chargers, Raiders.
They're doing that. Huh?
Yeah. So one Sunday, 2 Monday nights.
How's the Manning cast going to bounce between both games? Or
Oh,
are they going
that'll
to
be
stick
I
with
think
one?
it's just.
Didn't they try to?
They
go
tried
between
to
2
do that. Yeah,
games.
they tried to do that
That was
last
such
year,
a
going back and forth between the
clunky-
2 Monday night games.
Oh,
Well,
did you see Peyton and Eli's reaction to JJ McCarthy's pick 6? I love. There's nothing funnier in the world than watching Peyton Manning and Eli. Eli's facial expressions are hilarious. There's nothing funnier than seeing those two react to bad quarterback play.
So, did they say he was adopted?
No.
Like
Did you
they,
see that meme?
like they
Yeah.
did the week before?
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, hey, real quick before we get out of here, it's September. Let's talk baseball for a minute.
I'm out.
You
Well,
got
your White Sox
I-
took the race today.
I was
5-1.
very
I
excited.
was going to say.
I was not expecting anything this season as a White Sox fan. Very excited. We made it to September. After the All-Star game, we've actually been
Pretty
really
good.
interesting.
I still follow him.
I
I am estranged as a White Sox fan. Now, as a Texas resident, I cheer for my local team.
now.
it's been an interesting season.
The interesting thing I had nothing to do with really the team. It's the players itself. Is I know they're working on negotiating a deal to build a new baseball stadium in Nashville,
Are they?
and
And the
so the
rumor
is
Jerry.
White Sox
Roof.
is
are the
going
White
to-
Sox going there, or are they just going to expand and have more teams?
Well, the reason the rumor came out was because they were originally going to build, I want to say, downtown Chicago, kind of like the same time the Bears were trying to figure out where they were going,
Mhm.
Arlington Heights or staying. The White Sox were doing that as well, and they had a stadium picked out. They had the plot of land. They were trying to figure out the design, and then the soccer team, the Chicago Fire, swooped in and took the land
Took the
underneath
property.
them because they had the full design ready. So that whole thing happened, and that's when the Nashville White Sox, really
Right.
started to pick up fire.
And with Scott's sister Stephanie down there in Nashville, she lives right across the river from the Titans are building a new stadium in the parking lot of the football field. That's why they didn't have the IndyCar race in the streets this year. They had it out at the Speedway in Nashville, but right across the street is a scrap yard. For you people that have been to Nashville, know exactly where I'm talking about. That scrap yard has been purchased by, among others, Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
It is one of the investors, with the idea that may be where they put the baseball stadium. So you're going to have the baseball stadium right across the street from the football stadium. And I think they're also talking about one of the Super Bowls being in Nashville here in the next several years, as soon as they get that finished.
I was going to say that they'll have to finish the new stadium because I don't know how.
Are they building a new one?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're going to tear it. They're going to tear the old one down. That's where the parking lot's going to be. Much like
stadium's coming down.
much like
RCA
much
down
like
there
what
as
they've
well.
done in other places, whether it was Chicago White Sox Park or anything like that. Well, here I found this. If the season ended today, all right, if the season ended today in the American League, the Blue Jays and the Tigers are your number ones and twos, so they get the buys. Your wild card teams would be the three right now would be the Astros, and the six would be Seattle Mariners. So they would play each other. And then the 4 and the 5, believe it or not, are the Yankees and the Red Sox.
I was going to say the AL East, first to third, is only 3.5 games.
Yeah, and that still could but if it ended today, that's the way it
Still
works.
the rest of September left. AL West, Rangers are only 2 games back now of the division, which if you were to tell me that in May, I would have laughed at you because they sucked.
They've
been playing a lot better.
In the National
recently.
League, your number one team is the Brewers.
Yeah.
Who the Rangers just swept, by the way.
That didn't hurt the Chicago people's feelings at all. The Phillies are the 2, so those 2 would get the buys. Your 3 is the Dodgers, and then your wild card teams. The Dodgers would play the Mets because they're the 6. They'd be the last ones in. And then your 4 and 5 are the Padres and the Cubs. And like you said, the Cubs are sneaking in. It's closing the gap a little bit. So those are that's how things would be right now if it ended. As you said, the Yankees are 3 out. Red Sox are 3 behind Toronto. Cleveland's 9.5 behind Detroit. I don't think, John,
Tiger's going to win that division.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen. Seattle's only a game back of Houston, so those 2 could swap spots. In the National League,
Seattle's only a half game. Same amount of losses. Astros have just played one more game.
That's your update. Good.
And the Astros lost to the Jays today, 6-0.
There you go.
The asterisks.
The asterisks.
Asterisks.
Tigers and Yankees are 1-1 in the third.
Well, and us old timers would know, but why are the Astros called the Astros, right?
Yeah.
Where did they used to play?
Used to be the Houston Colt 45s.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Joe Morgan played for them before they changed names, and that was all part of Houston, we have a problem, but that's where they got the name Astros from astronauts. National League.
Is that why their mascot's name is Orbit?
Maybe.
I would imagine, yes.
That was sarcastic.
Here's
That's exactly why.
Here's why the Phillies are so good. The Mets are 10 back, but yet they're a wild card team right now.
Yeah.
They're the last ones in. The Cubs, it says here, are 5.5 out as of noon today.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and then the Reds are out of luck on that.
The NL's got good. The NL's top heavy.
Yes, the Cubs actually, if the Cubs were in the other divisions, they would only be a game or 2 out. Matter of fact, they'd be
leading the West.
Yeah, they have a better win-loss than the Dodgers, and then San Diego's only 3 back. So
Cubs start the series with the Rays at Wrigley tomorrow.
Well, the Rays didn't have to go very far in between series.
Cardinals are at the Brewers tomorrow, so that'll be. You got your road team of the week, Coach?
I keep forgetting to freaking put the cart.
Our little car.
You got your Frick's Road. You got your Frick's Driving School road team of the week.
My road team of the week was going to be from last week. It's going to be Vanderbilt college football game that they had. Vandy had a nice game, and I think surprised some people. They were at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech was the favorite, and Vandy spanked them 3 touchdowns.
They could do back-to-back.
44-20.
They're at South Carolina this week.
Yeah, they've had 2 road games, and can they do it twice in a row? I know.
Are we totally sold on South Carolina?
No, I am.
I'm not.
I'm
either.
sold on Sellers.
Yes.
But everyone else around him, no.
Well, because you had picked Garrett Nussmeier. You had texted me that you were thinking Garrett Nussmeier might win the Heisman
Right.
at the beginning of the year because Arch Manning's got some work to do to come back to it. But
I haven't seen anyone.
Brian Kelly has had a pretty good success rate with quarterbacks, if you think about it. Richardson's not a very good pro yet, but he's still so young, with the Colts.
he went to Florida, not LSU.
He went to Florida. Who is the Redskins quarterback is an LSU
Jaden
boy.
Daniels.
Yeah, he had a pretty good first year.
Yeah.
Can you name another quarterback under Brian Kelly?
Sean Kaiser.
Well, I mean, you think about it. Like,
Malik Zaire, who can't
the
shut his mouth
quarterback
about Ohio State.
Under Brian Kelly, at least at Notre Dame, you had Ian Book was probably the most successful. But Tommy Rees, Malik Zaire, Sean Kaiser.
Dane Christ? Was he there with Brian Kelly, or was he a Charlie Weiss guy?
I think that was first or second year.
Okay.
Now,
what about Jack Cohn, the transfer?
Should we just start?
That was the.
Yeah.
You wanted to start a new segment? Name obscure college football players.
I'd love that.
Here's one.
Dane Sanzenbacher.
Here's one.
Ohio State legend.
Notre Dame quarterback. Is it Drew Pine? Is with his eighth or ninth team now. He's at Bowling Green, maybe.
I think he's with his
or Kent
team.
State.
He went Notre Dame,
Arizona.
Missouri.
He is with
Bowling Green.
He is at Bowling Green now.
I think he's with his 15.
Notre Dame for 3, Arizona State, Missouri, and now Bowling Green.
Okay. Bowling Green.
So
all right, so he's in the MAC. Sounds good.
5 years of eligibility. That's going to come at some point from the NCAA where you only get 5, and that's it. This is crazy.
I mean, like you say, there's some quarterbacks still playing college. One of them down in Miami right now is older than some of the pros.
Yeah.
Well, Miami's tight end last year.
Yeah, it was his ninth year. Carson Beck, I think, is only. Let me find it. He's in his 5th year.
Okay,
that's a very normal.
And
path.
And we've
Fifth-year
mentioned this
grad
before
transfer.
with NIL. Some of these guys are going to make more money as a college player than they will as a pro.
Well, which is why college football needs a salary cap.
Yeah, I agree. Well, fellas, listen, I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, me too.
I'm getting hungry. I appreciate you guys stopping in tonight. Heck, we'll be back next week. I will be on the road next week someplace, either in Nashville or on my way to Sarasota. So I will be remote, but John will be here eventually. Kenny's probably going to be here too. And Heck will be back, and he can fill us all in on how things went down at Newcastle this week, and we'll talk some more college football and everything that goes with that. So
let me get one more word from all of our fine partners here. Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance, health insurance or Medicare. Tony at 574-307-8882 or tletcher.com. Han Funeral Homes. Hey, guys, what did one casket say to the other?
Is that you coughing?
I thought we could get through one.
If you are in need of funeral services, call Han Funeral Homes at 574-255-1474 or visit them online, hanfuneralhomes.com. Frick's Driving School, who sponsors the road team of the week, because I came up with one day and I said, hey, it's a driving school. How about a road team? fricksdrivered.com or 574-256-0650. Harbor Group, Planned Wealth, 765-393-1074 or harborgroup.com. And the Black Sedan Band, who will play us out. Gentlemen, anything else to say?
Let's promote our broadcast.
I was getting ready to say, let's remind everybody, where are the two of you going to be tomorrow night?
We will be at Bill Sharp Stadium at Knepp Field. Drew will have the call. Jimtown and John Glenn, INSC opener for both, and it's homecoming for the Jimmies. We'll be there tomorrow night. 6:30 pregame on broadcastsport.net and the IHSA Champions Network.
And Kenny and I will be at New Prairie for the South Bend Adams New Prairie game. We will be on the air at 7 on the IHSA network along with broadcastsport.net.
So check those out.
And you can find our video here on broadcastsport.net on the Coach's Corner with Heck and King page or here on YouTube. So with that, we'll get out of here. And thanks, everybody.